Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Matrix Cinema. I'm your host Dimitri, and I'm just going to do like a 15-minute review on Spider-Man: A Brand New Day. I jumped into this movie because a friend wanted to go see it, and I was going to see it, but I didn't have no interest in seeing it as fast as I did, but I did it, and it wasn't too bad. My thing is the whole thing with the multi-universe. Tim Holland, he does a great job as Spider-Man. You can't take that away from him. Um, my thing about it in the comic books, this whole multi-universe thing. You had the comic books where you had the what if, Spider-Man. What if he fought the Hulk? What if Spider-Man and X-Men teamed up? What if Avengers? He did team up with Avengers in the comic books, but you have a lot of that going on, and I think this multi-universe thing where they want to bring some of these actors back to portray these characters that they played in the past, because some of these movies you messed up on as the actors portrayed it, but then you want to bring them back. So some of the evil villains it was played really good, you want to bring them back. So what you do is you want to combine them in there, throw them in there like a whole collage. So now you doing the multi-universe thing. You introduce that to the world. You got um, MC Universe, which is by Disney, which is doing their way of stuff. They changing a lot of things in the comic books. You know, a lot of things that was in the comic books that was done properly by Stan Lee. MCU is doing it a different way. Okay, that's that you want change, whatever. But my thing is this whole multi-universe thing, it throws everything completely off, in my opinion. I don't like it. I don't like it where DC do it, because DC is trying to do it with the Flash and him going back in time. That Flash movie he did, him and Batman, and he's going back in time, and the whole multi universes with the Batmans, where they had Michael Keaton in there, but then they had the new Ben Affleck. They have they trying to bring up you know these actors that did a great job. It's like, well, what if that Batman was in this, and that Batman did it against this villain or this new age? Same thing with the multi-universal Spider-Man when they did that with Tobey Maguire, brought Tobey Maguire back, then they brought Andrew Garfield back. Then it was kind of, Tim Holland's in it, Jamie Foxx, Electro, Dr. Octopus back. Like this whole, multi-universe thing completely to me completely sucks. And I stand on it, won't change it. You know, some of y'all might, a lot of y'all like it. A lot of y'all can handle that mixed, back and forth actors that played this characters in this one, in this scene with this new movie. You know, I can't do it. Keep the old, the new. And it's just involving turmoil. It's like oil and water. You can't mix oil and water. That's how I look at it. The movie's good. If you want to do Spider-Man team up with the Hulk, like they did in the comic books, just do that. You know what I mean? Um, this movie had a lot of effect because from Doctor Strange helping in on the multi-universe thing, it erased everybody's, memory who knew Peter Parker. So now he's in this world alone in this movie where he has to look at his stare at his friends come walking through and not know who he is, which is kind of touchy in a way. Basically he's on this world alone. He's watching Mary Jane. You know, they just nobody knows who he is because of what Doctor Strange had to do in the past, the whole multi-universe thing. He had the three eyes. You know, and when you do that, it's just, man, so much stuff is thrown off, man. Why can't you just make this simple movie? If it doesn't do good, okay. Hollywood got to the point, like I call it. Hollywood is Armageddon right now. This is Hollywood Armageddon. They make it, they put it on paper, flip it, put it out there. It don't do good. Take it, ball it up, throw it away, make a new one. But you gotta remember, man, we all humans exist. So we all have brains. So you can't make us forget what it is or what it was. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna make new Spider-Mans," because these ain't exist in the past. People got these DVDs of the old Spider-Mans. You can't do that. You can't. Oh, Batman, Michael Keaton, Tim Burton was made. I know that, but we're gonna make like 10 different Batmans. You're getting out of hand with the Batmans. They went from Michael Keaton to Val Kilmer to George Clooney, okay, but they stuck in that universe. That was all. You've all from Tim Burton to Joel Schumacher. Now you got leave that universe, and then you got the Christopher Nolan, which is good. I like Christopher Nolan's Batman. One, two, three. Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. You know, he goes from Ra's al Ghul, Joker, Bane. Now you get rid of that. Now you want to bring another Batman, Ben Affleck. You know, and now you tying that in with the Justice League. You didn't make a movie on that whole franchise. You just jumped into the Justice League, but you did do Man of Steel. You made a Superman movie. You did Aquaman. You made the Aquaman movie. You made uh what's that? Wonder Woman. You made Wonder Woman movie. And you even did the Flash, but you didn't do Ben Affleck's Batman. You were supposed to did Batman Year One with Ben Affleck, but you didn't do that. Okay. Now, James Gunn, he's making a new Superman. Forget Henry Cavill. Push him out of the way. He don't exist no more. Like he didn't do a good job. A lot of us loved him as Superman. He was the second best, in my opinion, captured towards Christopher Reeve. I guess he didn't do good. Just erase that. That didn't exist. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What happened to that? Now James Gunn comes with his. I don't want to trash the man, but he comes with his Superman, and you know it turned out how it turned out. Then he tried to throw Supergirl in there, tell the story of Supergirl. Okay, cool. If I was him, I would have just made a Supergirl movie. I wouldn't have touched Superman. I would have left it and seen what Hollywood was going to do with Henry Cavill and that whole Justice League, you know, whole thing. I would have left that alone. If they're not touching it within the next couple of years or whatever, then I would have talks about it. I would have a fan base where I ask the fans, "Hey, what do you think I should do a new Superman, do a new Batman?" Now he's doing a new Batman after that Superman. He's putting together, I think, well, Batman. I'm not sure if this one's called Batman Year One, but he's doing a new Batman movie, and Alan Richardson, he's going to get to play Batman. Alan Richardson is the guy I wanted to play He-Man. I've said that on my first stream. Okay, now you want him to play Batman. Let's count how many Batmans it's been. Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney. Uh, let's see who else we got here. Christian Bale. Okay, Ben Affleck. Now you. Oh, I'm sorry. I almost forgot. Batman, the Batman. That's another universe. You see how this is getting? Like, like that's another one. That's six. Now, Alan Richardson will make seven. Man, this has got to stop, man. Like, oh, just don't even touch it at this point because all of this mixture in and all this just oh, I want to do it. These guys want to just take these projects and do it. They're already made. They want to take it. I seen Brian Singer take. He starts the X-Men franchise in the movie, brings X-Men to a live action movie from the comic books to the cartoons. He started it. And he did a good job. He leaves that to go direct Superman. Brian Singer did that. Superman Returns. What had Kevin Spacey, like decent little cast, but you see where that turned out. They gotta stop, man. Leave the projects what they are. Leave them for what they what you know. And if the movies are good, Don't touch that franchise unless you're gonna continue it. If you're trying to continue into it, we could talk. But don't touch it and redo it. Every time you turn around, I'll just name how many Batmans it is. Like that's ridiculous, man. Like that just doesn't make any sense. Say what you want to say, and it's to the point I'm getting tired of it because now there's one thing the movie world is doing that to the comic book, the history of comic books. You just screwing everything all up. You throwing the Marvel multi-universe thing, whatever. Now you got the Avengers and the X-Men and all this tied up. It's just this big old bomb. Now you ain't just doing it with that. Now you doing that. I'm not talking about multi-universe, but now you doing with the remakes of regular original movies that wasn't Marvel comics. You just remaking them and you're messing up, remaking them, redoing them. Friday the 13th redid that. That one didn't do good. You did Texas Chainsaw Makers Messenger how many times? I don't know. That didn't do good. Freddie, we ain't gonna even talk about that. Jackie Early, man, you should have had Jackie Gleason playing him the way he did. Now they got a new Freddie uh movie coming out because Paramount is in talks with Wes Craven's family. You know, Wes Craven passed away. He started Freddy Krueger. He did Scream, and now they want to take over the projects and bring in new Freddy, but it's going to be based off the times that Wes Craven had them going. The Freddy movies, Wes Craven had them going, not prequels, not continuations. It's just in that world when he had it going that he stopped. Jim Carrey, they're looking at Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger. Okay, you want to do that, whatever. Nothing against Jim Carrey. I think he's one of the funniest comedy actors of all time. His style is more goofy for me. But you do that, and then you got Halloween. We need to bring that up. How many Halloween films? Michael Myers is the guy in the mask, so you can get away with that. Kind of like Jason, but how do you mess up guys in masks? So this multi universe thing. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna break it down in a stream coming up soon, and I'm just gonna tell you what it does to Hollywood. How it's creating Hollywood Armageddon, kind of. Also, the creativity in these movies. You know, guys, we got to come up, man. Directors, producers, we got to come up with more imagination, more creativity, and stop going off old projects because you don't know. You're scratching your head. You don't know what else to bring up. You don't know what else to do. Like it's getting out of hand. You're messing up classics. You know, and now you get to the point is you don't know so much to do. So now you're going to TV shows that were comedy shows and you're making them into movies. And then you make serious TV shows that were serious TV shows into movies, turn them into comedy. 21 Jump Street was a serious TV show and it was really good. One of my favorite shows of all time. Johnny Depp, you know, started him. You turn around Ice Cube and Channing Tatum, you turn that into a comedy. Come on, man. Now you do Touch Miami Vice, Colin Farrell, Jamie Foxx. Okay, I thought that was a good cast, but the movie was just it was bland for a minute. It was good starting off. It looked like it was going to be promising, then it went bland from the middle to the end. Uh, I could keep David. Now you talk about doing a Night Rider. A whole Night Rider thing with this TV show bringing it down. Now, I guess that's going to be a comedy too. Then the 18. That's my favorite TV show of all time, other than Sopranos. Coming up as a young kid, excuse me, the 18 was one of my biggest. I love that. I had the box series when they came out with them. And then you make a movie with that, and you get Liam Neeson to play Hannibal Smith. You get Rampage Jackson to play Mr. T's part. I know Rampage Jackson, UFC tough guy, but You had Vin Diesel out there. You had Van Rames. You had Michael Clark Duncan at the time. You had, you know, heck, even The Rock. You had a lot of people that could have did it. Michael Jai White, one of my favorite tough guy martial art actors of all time. He was big. He could have did it. You know, then Murdoch. That bro was made for Jim Carrey. Face Man. Jackie Cooper didn't do a bad job, but I mean, Brad Pitt would have did good. I think. You know, um, it just they're touching a lot of things that they should just be still and not touched. They should be antiques sitting on the wall. Leave them. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Leave the history alone and stop trying to redo it because you're crumbling it up. You're dropping it. You're fumbling it. It's glass broken on the floor, and nobody's cleaning it up. You're just breaking the glass, and then just sit there. People walking, getting cut. That's what's happening with these movies in Armageddon. Yes, this is Hollywood Armageddon, and I'm not as actually as pissed as I seem to be right now because I know I'm taking a lot of energy out on it. But that's just I've always had this thing with this multi-universe, man. To the point, I think it affected this Spider-Man, and I thought this Spider-Man was good, but you see where it kind of affected and threw a lot of things off, and they just throwing stuff in there to try to make those stuff make sense, and it's just not keen. With that said, Mark Ruffalo did a really good job, as he always do, playing the Hulk. Dr. Bruce Banner, Tom Holland did a good job. I liked how they sort of try to bring Jean Grey in this, making her like the prime psychic villain who's shifting bodies to bodies. You could have left her out of it. You could have did another villain. You know what I mean? And somebody that they not used. Yeah, I mean, hey, they had Scorpion in there at the beginning of the movie. You could have just made him a villain, two villains, Scorpion, Kingpin, Scorpion, you know, Doc Ock, whatever, and make it a good, decent movie, man. Why you mixing in now? You bringing Jean Grey in there? Come on, she's an X Men. She ain't no villain. I mean, you guys like that? That's more power to you. You know, um, her sister. Like, just make it make sense of making it make sense to make it make sense, please. I just wasn't feeling the whole Jean Grey thing in this. It was a decent movie, but I wasn't feeling that. I felt like they should have just stuck with Scorpion. Like, that could have been a knockout punch if they did it the right way. I mean, but throughout the whole movie, I didn't like my stomach didn't quite crumble. you know, not like it did with Mortal Kombat 2. So it was a good. I would like to give the writing credit of the story, but the whole Jean Grey, you had me sold into the Jean Grey stuff. And it's Spider-Man: A Brand New Day. Here's my thing about Spider-Man. Also, when they left, I know they wanted to try something new out because you had the regular Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire. He had the Spider-Man villains. There was no teaming up with X-Men. Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man movies, no teaming up with X-Men. Now Tom Holland, the new one, I guess you wanted to just throw something different. And you had like I said, the what if Spider-Man teamed up with X-Men? What if Spider-Man teams up with the Avengers? He did help the Avengers in the comic books at some point. So you wanted to do that, but then you just mixed it in as if Spider-Man is an Avengers. He's not an Avenger. He's not. He's Spider-Man. He's his own superhero, and in the city of New York City, just like Daredevil. Just they all are their own hero. They're not part of the Avengers. Yes, they did. He did help, but he's not part of them. Now he's working with Tony Stark. Every new Spider-Man movie now, he's Tony Stark is You're trying to keep the Avengers thing in there. No, man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. If you want to do Spider-Man, things that would Avengers help Avengers, then that's fine. You do that, but don't do this other stuff, man. But I, I know how I feel, but I don't know how I feel. It just like I said, it was good. So me the first little bit, and then it was just like, oh, Jean Grey, what? Okay, all right, now I'm sick. It's like you eat a pizza, it tastes good, and then you start feeling sick. But it ended up being they pasted enough where it was okay. This was more of Peter Parker, more emotional stance than the flying up and down action the whole time helping Tony Stark. So they put a lot of emotions in this. You kind of felt this one a little bit. Spider-Man: A Brand New Day. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Go see it. If you ain't seen it yet, I'm gonna be doing another one on this one, and I'm probably bringing a guest. Spider-Man: A Brand New Day. You guys, y'all have a good weekend. I'll see you soon.